A Russian delegation has arrived in Damascus for the first time since the collapse of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad's regime. Moscow is trying in every way to negotiate the preservation of its 2 military bases in Syria, Khmeimim and Tartus, but to no avail. Bloomberg writes about this, citing sources in Moscow. Military bases in Syria are very important for Russia to maintain its influence in Africa and the Middle East. However, it looks like the Russians will have to say goodbye to them. Negotiations with the new Syrian authorities are at a dead end. Russia's activities in Khmeimim are limited, and 2 transport ships were forced to wait 2 weeks to receive permission to dock at the Tartus naval base to evacuate equipment, the article says. Satellite images have appeared that confirm that the Russians are moving their military equipment from Syria. They are being removed by the Russian Defense Ministry ships Sparta and Sparta II. Turkey, a key ally of the new Syrian authorities, is against Russia's military presence in the country. This fact, as well as the participation of the Russian armed forces in the bombing of Syria, makes it unlikely that Moscow will be able to reach an agreement on this issue. Recall on January the 28th, a Russian delegation headed by Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov arrived in Damascus. The Russians are continuing their attempts to persuade Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which has come to power, to maintain its military presence in Syria. Nothing is working, and this is a colossal geopolitical failure of the Putin regime. Tartus is Russia's only naval hub in the Mediterranean, and Khmeimim is a key supply base for Moscow's operations in many parts of Africa. Russia has used them to reassert influence in the Middle East, lost after the Cold War. Their loss would be a significant strategic setback for Russia, Bloomberg writes. In 2015, Putin entered the Syrian war. He helped the local dictator Bashar al-Assad retain power, receiving from him as a reward the Khmeimim and Tartus bases on a 49-year lease. But less than 10 years later, everything collapsed, along with Assad.
French Mirage 2005 fighters will appear in Ukraine in the near future, before the end of the first quarter of this year. This was stated by the head of the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Jean-Noël Barrot, on air at Sud Radio. Soon, French Mirages will be flying over Ukraine, he noted. According to Barrot, the planes will appear in Ukraine by the end of the first quarter, as stated by French President Emmanuel Macron. In early June 2024, Emmanuel Macron announced his intention to transfer Mirage 2000 fighters to Ukraine. According to preliminary data, France is to transfer 6 fighters in the first batch. In late December, it became known that Ukrainian pilots had completed training on Mirage 2000-5F fighters. Earlier, the media reported that the first 3 French Dassault Mirage 2000-5 fighters should arrive in Ukraine by the end of April. It was noted that they will be equipped with the best French air-to-ground weapons, in particular Scalp-EG cruise missiles and Hammer glider bombs. In early January, it was reported that Ukraine was to receive the first 3 French Mirage 2000-5F fighters by January 20, 2025. However, some sources indicated that the aircraft were already in Ukraine, although they were only performing training flights so far. U.S. Marines installed concertina wire on the southern border wall in San Isidro, California on Monday. According to Associated Press, during his first week in office, President Donald Trump signed 10 executive orders on immigration and issued a slew of edicts to carry out promises of mass deportations and border security. The Pentagon began deploying 1,500 active-duty troops to the border last week, but it was unclear if they will break from supporting roles they have played under presidents since George W. Bush, including ground and aerial surveillance, building barriers and repairing vehicles. An 1878 law prohibits military involvement in civilian law enforcement, but Trump and his aides have signaled he may invoke wartime powers. Trump said in his order that the Defense Department can assist with detention and transportation. Trump ended use of a border app to allow migrants to enter the country on 2-year permits with eligibility to work, canceling tens of thousands of appointments into early February for people stranded in Mexico. Nearly 1 million people entered the U.S. at land crossings with Mexico by using the CBP One app. Trump also ended a policy that allowed more than 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua and Venezuela to fly to the country on 2-year permits if they had a financial sponsor. Other actions will take time to play out. Trump secured Mexico's approval to reinstate a hallmark policy of his first term, Remain in Mexico, which requires asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for hearings in U.S. immigration court.
Hey, do you need more? No, I'm good. Go. Hey, you guys good over there? Are you guys good? Stand by.
That's alright, Gunny, we expected that. Oh, they're in Everett. We are, but we can take a wire.
Hey, do you need more? No, I'm good. Go.